it's time to have a look at the head stem and the suspension, and to some degree this is going to be more interesting to the postie bike people, because I don't know, but putting disc brakes on a postie is sort of something that people think about or like to do. And when I got my postie bike, the this is my shock absorber, right? And it's worn through there, and that there is just like rough. That thing there, that would I'd have to sand that down just so it didn't cut to pieces any sort of seals. But either way, really, it says that I need re-chroming. That my finger does not slide on there anywhere near as easy as there, so it needs something doing to it, or chucking, you know. So I knew that, so I went looking for a set of front forks. Couldn't find any, too expensive. And then I found those Chinese ones that I showed in the first video. I think it was $150 for the whole setup, and that included the front forks and the front wheel. And I'll talk about the front wheel in a second. So I've got these front forks that will run a disc, and with that also come a handlebar, wrong side, but the handlebar caliper and calipers, the handlebar lever and all that sort of stuff. So I've got all that with it, and I'm going to see if I can make this off a Honda CG125 Chinese copy. So I'll just go through some of the things I've noticed so far, because this is a total gamble. You know, will this fit? Will the CG125 fit? And the reason why I thought it would, because Honda are not going to retool all the time, so I figured they'll save money where they can. So the CG obviously takes regular handlebars, and this one here, the 90 model was the model where it has an opposite ratchet system like this that then holds the handlebars, and there's this lever thing that goes through, and it clamps down and then holds the handlebars on. Sort of runs through there. And the reason why they did that is so that if people put them on the back of their cars and their trailers or whatever, they could unhook the handlebars, turn them the same way as the bike, and then just for easy storage it makes the whole bike a lot narrower. So it's a feature for the 90s. They dropped it by the 110s, but I'll keep it if I can. So my plan is I want to convert as much as possible, have it the Honda look, so I'll keep that. So first thing I need to look at, is it the same size? And if you superimpose that over the top, yes it is. They are the same size. So this CG125, the fork distances are the same. Good. So I don't need that. I'll stick with my Honda one. Next thing is the bottom fork yoke. Is that the same? Well, yes, because obviously the distances from there to there is the same. Just a little note though. See that thickness there for the Honda? The Chinese, they save as much money wherever they can. It's just thinner. You know, is that important? I don't know. The head bolts are a smaller size. What the Honda ones are. You know, the Hondas just, they don't skimp the metal so much. Now, the head stem is the same width there, so it takes the same race size there, so that means that'll be the same top and bottom. That's good. This is the same height, but I have a bit extra height, which I presume is for that clamping system. So yep, that's the same. That one's just thicker than what this one is, so I'll get rid of that. I don't need that. So I'll keep this one. Then it comes some of the hardware for it. This is the top to hold the bearings down. Once again, the silver one is the Chinese one, and that's the Honda one. See, they're just a few mil thicker. Save money where you can, they reckon. So I'll keep the old ones. I'll have old style bearings in there. So, and I need this one on top because I have that clamping system where the CGs would just have a nut on top. So okay, no big deal. So I'll run the Honda stuff where I can. New bearings. The CG one has these little booties, and yeah, they look alright, but I want to stick with the Honda stuff. I would really like to make it look like it's a Honda front end, but mysteriously it has a disc brake on there. So I want it, well, it is going to be a copy of a Honda front end, but I want it to look like it's a Postie Bike front end, but for some reason it has a disc on there. So that's my plan. These are the same height basically. Disc brake mount. I'll use these booties on there on the CG because they fit. The size is the same, so those booties will go in there, which will give me the genuine Honda look. And I'll keep these things on there, which go on top of here. Once again, for that genuine Honda look. So I'll have it looking like a regular Postie, just to have a disc on it. It appears that I'll be okay with that. Now the next thing is I got this and I just sort of push it up and down as you do. And it bounces, you can't see what I'm doing, but it bounces straight back again, which to me says there's no dampening in there. So first thing, okay, is I've got oil in there, and I look around and there's no oil, drain the oil, and here there is on the Honda. Because you always have with a front shock absorber, you have a dampening system there and there, and I can't feel the dampening. So maybe they ship it with no oil, maybe they do, maybe they don't, I don't know. A strange thing for you non-posties is that in the Hondas, normally a motorbike would have a spring running on the inside there, and then there's dampening. Well, the Honda on their spring on the outside, which is okay, it's just how they did it for that model. So what I'm going to do for the CG one is I will pull that top off, tip out any oil I want, I can find in there, and if there's oil in there, there's dampening. And if not, I'll just put some in there and see what happens. So that's the next thing I need to do. The front wheel. The front wheel. Once again, this is for you. This is for you non Postie people. Not so interesting, but for the Postie people, it will be. The rim is the same size as a regular Postie bike. I could have ordered it wider. Maybe I should have. I don't know, but I wanted to keep it the same as the rear rim, so it's a standard width. The disc is nothing special, like it's pressed steel. Like, you know, it's just a flat plate that's been pressed, and that's been pressed down a bit to give room for the caliper. Remember, this is the same width as what the normal drum brake would be, so I greased it all in there because it was quite dry, so I put grease in there and put grease on the shaft. Nothing on here. The disc is nicely machined. It should bite well when I first use it. And so on the other side, it has the Speedo system, which is just pushes in there. Now, when I turn the Speedo, you can see that turning. I would presume that cable. So it comes with a cable. I presume that cable will mate straight up to the Honda Speedo. Anyway, when I just turned it on the bench, it was quite gritty, so I packed it more with grease again, and then it sort of made it come nice. So I've had to play with it a little bit to make it work, but at this stage we're talking the same widths as what it needs to be. So I'm reasonably confident that I can make this whole thing work. Also, my bike didn't come out with a steering lock on it. Well, it didn't have one on there. Remember, I bought it in pieces. So I bought a kit that has a steering lock in it, has a ignition key, and also has a helmet lock. So the helmet lock, hang on, how do I get this out? The helmet lock has a spot right there for the helmet. See that indentation there for the helmet lock to go? The helmet lock's on this bench somewhere. There it is. No, that's the steering lock. Helmet lock here. The helmet lock, there's that indentation. It's designed to go like that. See the marks there? So it's meant to go like that. I don't know if I'll use it yet. On the inside in here, where is it? There we go. I know it's raised there, but the bolts would be either side of right there. So it's double skin there, but I can just make that work. helmet lock goes there. So I may or may not use the helmet lock, but I'll definitely use the steering lock, and we'll go with that. So there we go. So the next thing now is I'm going to pull that front forks out. It seems quite stiff, so I might be able to go between when I take it off. We'll see how it goes. This is a bit of a worry because there's one thing I know I'm good at, and that's hurting myself. Now that pressure, I can feel that pressure, so well, that pressure didn't translate into a spring going ka-twang. So the next thing is there any oil in there? Whoa, oh yeah, there is. Well, I'll drain that and I'll measure it. As far as I can tell, the CG manual says it takes about 75 mil. So I'll let that drain overnight, see what comes out, and I'll put a known brand in there. When I move this fork up and down, it seems to have some dampening compression, like it has resistance. No spring in there. I've taken the spring out, but that one has some, and I do it to the other one and it has nothing, just goes up and down. So it looks like there's only got dampening in one fork. This is the stuff that came out of it. It's, you know, it's kind of milky. That's alright, I'll replace it with some 10 weight. Put the forks back together and hope the best. That's about all I can do. Well, I've got it all together, and a few little issues. These booties were a bit too short. They weren't coming up enough, because normally they have a spring inside there that would force them up, but I just put a bit of double-sided tape in there around there, and that just sort of, it's enough to hold them in place. Everything else looks okay. I've used the bearing races that I got with the Chinese kit, and as usual they skimp on bearings. Why have a full set of bearings when you can put this plastic stuff in between and only have every second bearing, which is not going to be as good because it won't spread the load over there as well. But anyway, I won't wear it out. So she's all ready. I'll put that away. It's completed the look I'm after. Like, that just looks like a stock Honda front end. The only thing is down the bottom down here, it's got a disc hanger. So that'll be the look. All standard, except for it just magically has a disc.